freedom of the press, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of choice, freedom to do whatever the fuck you want to do that doesn't hurt anybody else or cause them real pain. Yeah, we got to have that. Because once you start limiting that, you know what I like to do is paint by contrast. So I always jump to the other side and say, okay, maybe freedom of speech is not such a big deal. I've never believed that, but you do it for the process of intuitive exercise. And I go over and I say, let's ask this. What would be so bad about having some limits on freedom of speech? What would be so bad about saying, okay, in America, you can't talk about religions. You can only talk about you can talk about everything else except for religion. It's because that opens a door. That's really the problem. I mean, it sounds outrageous anyway to a free thinking American right now. What do you mean you can't talk? Fuck you, I can't talk about religion. Yes, I can talk about religion. But what happens is it opens a door. And then you get these other things. Well, you can't talk about the IRS. You can't talk about medical cover. The next thing you know, you're in Nazi Germany circa 1943, and the pressure's fucking on because you're not doing too great in the war. All right? You're getting shot for thinking the wrong thing. God forbid you say the wrong shit. You and your family will get shot. Well, we're kind of here again. Yeah, this is a cyclical thing. Comes and goes, comes and goes. It's like waves in the ocean, rise and fall. So here now, we have Muslims who have decided they're going to shoot someone, many someones, who have disrespected the Prophet Muhammad and or Allah. All right, their main religious figures in their religion. So now, people like you and I have to make a decision. If you're American, you say you believe in freedom of speech, you're going to have to exercise that at some point and prove it. Or who's going to believe you? Are you going to believe yourself? How far will you go? And I have no problem picking on any religion's deity or prophets, no problem at all. And I know that these people are so fanatic, the extremists, the Christians have them too. Don't fool yourself and think it's all Muslim. Will come and blow your fucking head off. But you know what? To me, that's worth it. Because for every one they shoot, you know 2 or 3 are going to emerge. People tend to conglomerate around the causes of freedom. They really do. They dig it. It's a big deal. It's a popular thing. Yeah, people like that. Because most countries have some history in which they were not entirely free. And they can read their history. Some of them can actually remember it. You know, we shouldn't act like we're the kings of freedom in America. I mean, how many hundreds of years did we have slaves? 1500 through 1865? Yeah, that's too many hundreds for a young country. Most of America's history, most of it, over 50%, has had the presence of slaves that were owned by other humans. So we're not in a position really to preach much about freedom. However, I do hope that we decide to galvanize our Constitution and the amendments, the Bill of Rights, such to the point that they will last through some ugly tidal waves. And those waves are coming. They always do. 9/11 was a choppy wave. And you know, December 7th, 1941 was a choppy wave. This is the way it's going to happen. And there's going to be another terrorist attack, probably within my lifetime, maybe 2, where many Americans are killed on American soil. And what you have to ask is, A, why is it happening? And B, why the fuck couldn't we stop it? And C, what was our response? I can't help but wonder how much the A-bomb influenced Japan to behave after World War II. Can you imagine if we'd gone in, put people on the ground, say we came to like a truce. We had lost 150,000 men on the Japanese mainland. They had lost 800,000 people. And both sides decided, that's enough death. Let's just call it a day here. And we found some kind of truce. How do you think Japan would be today compared to the way they are right now? I'm curious. I always think about shit like that. What if it had gone a different way? Where the fuck is you know what I'd like to know? Where's Barco? because he can smell my show from 40 miles away. And he apparently, I'm gonna have to check chat again. I'm looking at this picture right now, and this picture says Charlie Hebdo, l'amour plus fort la haine, l'amour plus fort que la haine. It's cœur la haine. It's been a while, and I think it's something like, I don't know, but it's got. I think it's got either a Muslim, just a Muslim, or actually the Prophet Muhammad kissing another guy, some white dude, and I don't know who that is. I think it's just a reporter. So, in fact, inside, if this is the one I'm thinking of, inside, oh, it says here it is, love is stronger than hate. Okay, I didn't know the French word for hate. Can you believe that? Mm. Oh well. And I should have. I need to learn that motherfucking word, because that's going to be used a lot in the coming months. How do you guys feel about what happened in France? What would you do? Does it not matter to you? Let me ask you this. Would you die to protect an American's right to freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of religion, Second Amendment? Go right on down the Constitution. Unreasonable search and seizure, all of that. Would you die to defend an American's right to enjoy those constitutional freedoms if you had to, if it was totally threatened by like an invading force? Or would you seek peace and shelter and just try to hide from what was coming? Now, some of you guys are going to say one thing but be thinking another. But what I'll do is what I always do is I'll flip a switch on you. This American that you're saying you're willing to die for to protect their rights, let's say this American is a Muslim, a black Muslim, and you're a white Christian male or a white agnostic or atheist male. Are you still willing to do it? And if not, why? Because I think inside of all of us, we have a line, and it's not just freedom of speech like I was talking about earlier, but I'm talking about a line where we stop caring enough for people to where we would give our lives for them. I even put a condition on it earlier, non-felons only. All right, if you're a felon, I'm not dying for you. If you're a non-felon, I'll die for you if you're an American citizen. And that goes for any religion, either sex, fucking hermaphrodite, fucktardian refugees, French kissing Muslims. That's fine. All of that. If you're an American and you're here and you're in the system, it's just the way I am. I think we have to be that way. And let me tell you something. I don't feel any different about what happened in France than I would if it had happened in New York or Boston or LA. I don't. It's the same thing that has me enraged. And it is the smallness, the narrow-minded view required for a Muslim extremist to go out and attack someone who has offended them, or their invisible dude, whoever that is. Fuck them. And I hope I get a chance to say it more publicly. My show doesn't have that many listens, but spread it around. If you can find some Muslim extremists, share this fucking show with them. Because, listen, Muslim extremists, fuck you and your God. And I say that with the utmost respect for your religious rights to practice that religion. And if you're an American and you're a Muslim, I will die to protect your right to be a Muslim in America. But if you're going to attack people because they have offended you and you're going to shoot them dead, then fuck you. I have two giant, semi-crooked, due to arthritis, middle fingers that are extended directly at you and those who believe what you believe. Because regardless of what you believe, whatever you believe is not worth killing someone over. That's too much. That's way over the line. I wouldn't even agree with an ass whooping unless you had been physically threatened, literally in your face threatened, not verbally, or someone had hurt one of your children, or someone you knew. Okay, that's when you can get physical, when they get physical. You cannot have lead flying because someone sketched something that did not respect your favorite religion. That's what pussies do. You know what a pussy does? Let me tell you what a pussy does. This is my definition of pussy when I'm putting it in the context of a human. And that is, You get yourself a high-powered rifle, and you plan to go into a place that has unarmed people that offended you, and then you shoot them all, and you follow your plan, you shoot them all up, and then you run like a little bitch. That's what a pussy does. Yeah, that's what a walking vagina does. The labia are all flapping in the wind, and there's nothing wrong. We like vaginas, right? When they're in the right context. But I'm talking about the human personification context here. We don't like those kinds of vaginas. And you can't go kill freedom-loving, freedom-practicing people because your views don't fucking match theirs. For all you know, the people doing these cartoons didn't even believe in what they were doing. They might have been doing it as an assignment. You're killing fucking cops that are Muslims? Who are you? Who are you supposedly protecting and defending here? You think your God's going to be okay when you have just shot an unarmed, innocent Muslim, somebody from your own religion, that supposedly your God, Allah is great, Allah Akbar, okay? And you just killed him. You just took the power away from your God and put it in your own hands. And now you expect your God to take care of you? If your God exists, he's going to bend you over and fuck you with a dick that's the size of the Statue of Liberty. And that's appropriate for this particular incident. Well, we'll put a tickler. The Statue of Liberty will be the tickler. We're going to use the Eiffel Tower. Yeah, you're getting it. And it's going to be ugly. No lube. He doesn't even, Allah's going to be like, bend over. Don't ask questions now, because I don't want to have to draw a little line and cover your mouth up. Just bend the fuck over and get what I got for you. And we're going to bring in Muhammad to watch all this. Yeah, why not? Let's do it. Yeah, I said it. And if you need my name, it's Kevin Kierstead. And you can find me in southeastern Virginia. Send me a message. I'll be happy to meet you in public. Because you might be surprised at what happens when you come to shoot an American that knows you're coming. Yeah, we do things a little bit differently here in America. We aren't afraid to do a little rat-a-tat-tat our goddamn self. So, I'm telling you what to do, journalists. You want to know what to do? Start packing heat. I know. Oh, the pen is mightier than the sword. But fuck it, if you got a pen and a sword, you're indestructible, my friends. You're the Terminator up in this bitch. You cannot be killed if you got the pen and the sword, because you're drawing with one hand and wielding with another. No one can stop you. No one can stop you. Back to the chat room. Sorry, I go off on these little things. Only against aggression to our culture, I would also freely delete rapists, killers, and pedos for free, if legal. Okay, I hear you. Fuck Allah, says Guy. Thank you. I do appreciate the honesty. I know Muslim people would not have carried out an attack like this. Yeah, I saw that story about Bill Maher. I agree with that. I got a question for you about that, Apocalypse, since you mentioned it, because I read some of that. Now, Bill Maher has never been afraid to go. He's probably going to end up killed. I honestly believe he may have gone too far this time for his safety, not too far. I'm glad he went as far as he went. You've got to find out where the line is. So Bill Maher basically says, look, I know most Muslims would not have participated in this, but I think a inner number here, I guess he might have said millions, but that's still only a couple, 3%. It depends on, because you're talking about a couple of billion worldwide Muslims. So be careful about thinking the number in the millions is that big. It's all relative, folks. So I think what he was saying is there were millions of Muslims who were happy to hear about this news, because once you attack the Prophet or Allah, you're fair game for the bullet. They're happy that you've been killed over doing that thing you did to offend their religion. So think about that. How many of them do you suppose are happy tonight? When 9/11 happened, I saw a random news clip. I mean, they were just rolling in from around the world. And it was outside of a bar, I think. Somewhere in, I don't even know if they're allowed to drink in Pakistan. It was either like a cafe or a bar in Pakistan. And they translated what one of the guys said. Remember, they just saw the towers fall. And this guy's jumping up and down, and he's, Allah Akbar is the only thing most of us would recognize. He said, we have finally fucked the Americans. And around him, a large group of people, even kids, were jumping up and down. That's how they dance. That's how